Hi everyone, this is Sarah Means, one of the product managers with the HR business unit, and this is an overview demonstration of the newest content item that we've released that is an updated onboarding process. We're calling it Onboarding V1 Employee Experience Pack. This is essentially a culmination of the out-of-the-box onboarding process, the rapid results onboarding process that was released on Share about a year ago, and demo items and content that have been collected by our internal solution consulting team to provide a really cohesive, larger onboarding process that hits a lot of the needs that our customers are looking for. So before we begin the actual demo, essentially we do have this new lifecycle event that is included in the package. If you take a look, there are a number of pre-configured activities and activity sets that you can utilize. So feel free to take a look in this back-end view at any time as the administrator to see what activities and what items will be coming up. In addition, we also have a guided setup that is included with this package. The guided setup essentially walks you through every item in terms of the tasks, the different items that need to happen, and how you need to complete those. So there are a number of task templates that come with this, as well as different criteria and surveys and other things. And this makes sure that you are able to review all of the items before you deploy. So I'm going to keep this as the very standard out of the box with some of the links as placeholders. But if you were to deploy this in a full environment, you would want to do this step first and go through all of these various phases to 100% completion before demoing and testing this out. So let's begin. We're going to use a couple of different users for the demo. We're going to start off with a manager. So because this is an onboarding process, Maria needs to select the individual that is coming on board. We are going to use one of our demo items to get this set up. However, typically this would come in via your integration with your HCM solution. We'll fill out all of the pertinent information. Again, this would be coming from your solution, so you shouldn't have to fill this out, but for testing and demo purposes, this is a great way to see how this process kicks off and works within your environment. We'll be sure to put her start date in the future so we can make sure that the tasks generate appropriately for the first couple of phases. So as her manager, Maria has the ability to see Kelly's status at any time. We can see, again, in line with the lifecycle event that I just showed as the administrator, we have a variety of phases that are included that really line up to what we've seen customers using in a best practice format as to the different phases that occur and what are the most pertinent activities for those phases. So we're beginning to create her accounts, so that is something that IT takes care of. It's already moved forward. And now as her manager, she just needs to take a look at a couple of items. For example, she needs to send a personalized welcome email. So this is something just to make sure that that onboarding experience is a little bit more personal. There's some instructions here that guide Maria on what she needs to do. And then she needs to review her toolkit. This is just a link to a knowledge article. This is a templated article that comes with this package, and you can replace this with whatever content is pertinent for your managers. But this way she has instructions on what to expect for the next couple of phases for the onboarding process. So she's completed her activities for this phase. However, there are a number of items that are assigned to both HR as well as to Kelly, the new hire. So let's take a look at those items and see how they move forward. Now, as a part of Kelly's onboarding, she's going to receive a number of emails. So first of all, you'll see this email that gives her a welcome to the organization. This essentially allows her to figure out what her username is going to be in, and as well as her password. And this, again, is a template that is included as a part of the onboarding package. So we already are at the portal, so I don't need to use this link, but a really easy way for her to get that information. Now, I also see that she has this onboarding portal password that needs to be leveraged for her as well. So we can pull the password from here, which is this pre-generated item, and go ahead and put that into our new portal. Kelly can now create her own new password to access the portal for future reference. Now, if we take a look, Kelly has a similar but a little bit of a different portal that is more targeted to her persona as a new hire. And she has a couple of action items that she needs to complete. Specifically, she needs to watch this welcome video. So starting to get her involved with what maybe her position is, or just the company and the theme and the workplace in general, so that she feels more confident and comfortable moving into her new position. At this point, we've completed our items. We just need to wrap up with our HR persona, which I'm going to be using Harry, to complete any outstanding HR items before we move this request forward. So we can see that brand new request onboarding item for Kelly. And if we take a look, we're at 4 out of the 5 overall items for this first phase. We just need to complete this background check, which is something that you can use a integration for. We do have some out-of-the-box predefined integrations that you could leverage. And we'll just say that Harry is working with a third party to do this, and he's already received the response. Maybe that is an acceptance. She passed her test. So we'll go ahead and complete this to move this forward in her process. As you can see, we've now completed this, and we're getting ready for our largest phase, which is essentially preparing for that first day. So let's take a look at our users again. We'll start with Maria, the manager. If we look at our phase here, she has a couple of items. She needs to select the access that the new individual Kelly will be using. So we have a couple of items here. That's an IT request that she's submitting. And she has a checklist to help her walk through some of the key items in this pre-boarding phase. So she might want to consider maybe assigning a buddy, getting that lunch scheduled, maybe that account access. She needs to make sure that that's done. Any sort of assignments, especially as this is coming up closer and closer, she might want to make sure that some of these items get done. So we'll just mark this as complete just to make sure that we move this forward. Now let's take a look at Kelly, because she has the majority of the items that need to be completed. If we look at her items, she has a whole list of activities. First of all, she needs to select, because she was an office-based employee, so we made that selection in the very beginning, what type of desk she wants. So she prefers a stand-up desk or the option to do that, so she'll make sure that facilities gets that request for her. And then she has a number of agreements that she needs to sign. So with this solution, we actually have 4 different documents that are included. Most of these are placeholders and templates that you can utilize with your own documentation, but it gives you a really good idea of different types of formatting and options. So this is a PDF. She can go ahead and put her name in here. Some of them are more simplistic type of articles. So for example, the IT agreement is one that is just a standardized statement that says that she agrees to receive the property that she has and whatnot. So in this one, we'll go ahead and do our signature there. And for the sake of the demo and completion, I will sign off on the other 2 documents, one of which is an IP agreement, which is a very common item, which, depending on her answers to this IP agreement, might even spawn some additional things for her, as well as her facilities agreement, so being in the office, her badge, and ID. So covering all of our bases with a variety of departments. Now she needs to start to do some other items that might be pertinent for her on site. So the first is a badge photo. So we're going to grab a photo from my desktop here. You can see there's Kelly's item. So she'll send that into, again, the facilities team. If they need to take an additional photo on site, maybe that one is just for her profile, we can go ahead and do that as well. Now, again, because she's office-based, the office that she's going to requires a parking permit, so she needs to put her car information in here. She'll submit that, again, going to that facilities group just to make sure that they get the tag for her car. Now, if we take a look, she also has to send in a biography. So this is a great personal example where she needs to write a little bit of a note that says who she is, where she came from, that she's excited to get started. So I'll put something personal in here so that we can use. Now, we ask that Kelly sends this to her manager, so we'll be sure to send that in an email. I won't show that as a part of the demo, but the instructions make sure that she sends that information off as well as submits it into the solution so that we can post that to her profile. Now, there's a couple of other optional items here, one of which is ordering a uniform. So if Kelly happens to be in a position where she needs a uniform, we have a placeholder link there that can be leveraged, as well as the fact that you might want to get her benefits set up. So this is another optional item where we can link her to a benefits solution. So again, just a placeholder here that you would want to complete with your benefits portal wherever that might live. Last couple of things. We empower Kelly to actually select her own laptop. So she can see the different options here. She can select, depending on what type of individual she is, maybe a PC versus a MacBook, and some software. So she has a couple of selections. She loves using some of the Adobe products. She knows that she needs that for her position, as well as some of these other selections. So I'll just make those, and she can process that. Now, IT will be able to leverage that. She also has the option to request specifically her email. So this is, again, an option that IT is allowing her. Depending on her name, maybe she has a nickname or she spells her name in a particular way that they want to make sure they get correct. So we'll just say that will be our email that we'd like to use, because we've already provided our personal email, and they will be giving her a corporate email upon her first day, but we are still in that pre-boarding status. Now, last thing we need to do, take a survey. So we want to check in on the new hire at all times. So we are in this pre-hire phase, and we want to know how she's feeling, how she's doing. So if we take a look at some of these questions, it's going to be things like, how helpful have the resources been? Do you feel prepared? How, even based off of this process so far, what's your experience? Would you recommend us? So we'll say everything was great, and we can send that feedback into HR to make sure that they constantly receive that data. At this point, depending on what other actions there might be, Kelly can just wait before her first day comes along. So for the purposes of the demo, I'm going to fast forward this to put Kelly at her first day in that time frame. So I've fast forwarded the request. We can see that I've pushed us forward into get started. This gets created on her start date. So all I've done is moved Kelly's start date from the future up to today's date. And again, just as a review from the internal perspective, there were some tasks that we didn't finish up just for demo purposes. For example, the parking permit would have needed to be completed. They need to take the information that she provided up front and fulfill that. The security badge with her photo was another one that would need to be fulfilled as well, and potentially some payroll items. All of those are part of the out-of-the-box workflow that are provided with this package. And if we look at our next page here, we can see all of the additional tasks that have been generated for Kelly to complete. So let's take a look at what those are. So let's take a look at Kelly's portal. You'll notice that even just by switching and reloading the page, we actually changed the banner. So her start date adjusted. She went from being a pre-hire to a full-time employee. And because of that, the content has dynamically updated to impact that. If we look at her to-dos, we have a couple of key items. So she needs to update her contact information. In this use case, we're actually just providing her to her profile. You'll notice that her bio was updated from that entry point we did earlier. She could upload her photo if we wanted to. Go ahead and do that. And we can take a look at her contact information and her emergency contacts and fill those out. Say that's completed. You might want to set up a variety of benefits. Because she's a US-based employee, she gets these items, so she can make some selections. Select our plan. Maybe set up her email signature. She can view her requirements for doing her email signature. Again, another templated article. This one is in the IT knowledge base, just to get her moving forward with some of these items. In this article example, this is actually a knowledge blocked article. It is another template in which we are providing some basic information, and because she is a US-based employee, the block is showing us the specific information that she needs about her 401k. So another great example to use, we're providing her the guidance and setup steps to complete all of the appropriate actions so that she feels like she has all of the knowledge that she needs. We'll set up our printer access, another article, so that she can get her laptop set up, so she should have that on her first day. Direct deposit could be a deep link. It could be an example that just explains how to do this. So it has just some quick explanation on how to set up the routing if you want to do your direct deposit. We already did some of our personal information. In case she missed anything, she could complete that here. A couple of other explanations, especially about her travel card. So in her position, she might be traveling a little bit, so we want to make sure that she knows what to expect there. She can make her selections for her dental plan, so we'll complete that form, submit that along. And her medical plan as well. That leaves us with just a couple of final items. So again, if she has a telephone or a mobile device that she's using, we can sync that up. So depending on the device policy, you might want to adjust this. At the moment, this is just a placeholder link that she could use. So we'll go ahead and complete that. So this is a link to potentially a training solution or a learning management solution. You can update that placeholder as well as the placeholder for the mobile device setup as well. In this case, we will just skip that final activity. So that gets our new hire, Kelly, all set up for day one. If we take a look at Maria, her manager, if we see her phases, we can see the outstanding items that need to be completed as well. Really, HR and IT just need to complete some of their outstanding items. Those could be payroll-based. It could be getting all of that equipment selected, set up. So it's an easy way for us to see what's going on. Right. So here are the items from the various departments. Now, just for the sake of the demo and to show you what are in the final couple of stages, these last two phases, this ramp up one starts the day after her first day, just to not bombard her with too many new activities. And the check-in happens about 2 weeks after that. So let's fast forward to the ramp up first, and then we'll fast forward to the check-in time just to show you those final tasks. So if we take a look, the ramp up has begun. There are 6 activities. So there is a check-in that needs to be scheduled by Maria, some meet and greets. So these are just items that need to be kind of completed just with some basic instructions. So she'll schedule that check-in. She can get those meet and greets situated, as well as maybe assign her some training and get some information set up. So let's take a look at this. She can assign her that role-based training. This is going to be a link into your LMS or whatever training solution that you use. In my demo, it's just a placeholder, so we'll just complete that. And complete the meet and greet as well. Now, there are a couple of items outstanding for Kelly. So in her case, she needs to complete her training. Again, that is her deep link into that learning solution. She can order her new business cards and complete that survey. So let's take a look at what the survey looks like, just to get an idea. Again, we did a pre-hire survey. This one is about her orientation, so it's the day after she started. So she should have already gone through that. She can say, yep, I went through it yesterday. It was in New York because she lives in that area. She thought it was super helpful. It was a good atmosphere. The trainer was great. Maybe a little bit of improvement in one of the areas, and she has some additional comments. So a really quick and easy survey that's about the orientation itself to provide some additional feedback for that group. So as we go through this process, initially she had a survey in the beginning. Now we're checking in with her again. And then once we hit that 14-day mark that I'll be able to show you in just a moment, she'll have some final check-ins to complete. So let's fast forward to 14 days in the future. And we are in that final phase. So we're logged in right now as Maria. We can see all of the action items that are open. Maria has a survey as well as a check-in checklist. So we can make sure, again, she's hit a couple of these things. We'll check off on those boxes. And she will take her survey as well. So we're making sure that we hit all of the points. I won't take the survey as Kelly because we've already done a couple of those examples. They are very similar. However, they all get us the data and the points that we need. The surveys are configurable. These are just templates to get you started. So she can say, yep, we did get the system access and the equipment on the first day. Kelly was all situated, and then she had a great experience. Submit. And that brings us to the end of the onboarding flow. So we were able to go through all of the phases and take a look at all of the tasks. Again, there are a number of tasks that are specific to office-based employees, that are specific to US or international employees. So depending on who you pick, that might have a different path depending on those selections. And of course, this is just a template. It's meant to get you part of the way to your completed journey, but there are a number of placeholders and templates in here that need to be updated for your particular organization. So hopefully you found this helpful in terms of the overview of what this should look like and what is provided out of the box with this experience pack. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Thanks.